So, one last thing at the end here, guys. So, I am very much a casual streamer, very casual YouTuber as well. I'm only just getting back into it after 3 or 4 years of nothing. And watching back, I've noticed that some of my videos are blurry in the playback. I don't know what's causing it. I don't know if it's my cheapo Logitech camera I've got here. Maybe it's my PC, it's quite old sort of thing. I'm not sure what is causing it, but I just want to take this moment to apologize, okay, for the blurriness in my videos. If any of you are watching and you've got a lot of experience this kind of thing, can think of potential settings to change. Maybe I need to reduce the graphics down on the actual game itself. Do let me know so I can improve content, although limited content, improve it for future watchers and viewers. Thank you, and I appreciate you bearing with me on that one. Cheers. Hello everyone, it's myself, Ragewood here, back with another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the talk of the town, that is Corrosion. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, off the bat, let's look at Rook, shall we? Rook is the exclusive. He increases the damage dealt to enemies with current HP of 50% or more by 30%. Great and Vortex. He summons a rat as part of his battle skill. Deals additional damage every 10,000 corrosion. It's quite a weird one, this. Like the giant rat sort of runs across. And then his ultimate is he casts 3 times, each one dealing poison damage to enemies in range, and again deals additional damage, dependent on the amount of corrosion. Moving on, we've got our Rat Ninja. Kind of reminds me of Master Splinter, sort of Teenage Mutant reference for you guys there. So when he's under invisibility, he deals increased damage. Alright, now, I don't know of anyone that Poison will ever pair with that has invisibility outside of himself. Which is why I think it's a shame that we'll never have Poison with Necrosis, because I feel like Torrin would be, or even Thea. No, not Thea. Definitely Torrin, though. This guy would be super cool. Anyway, his battle skill, he becomes invisible for 5 seconds, and he strikes a 5 enemy 3 times, kind of like Quester, Caraman kind of vibe. Converting the damage into corrosion, and then on his ultimate, he gets invisibility, 20% attack up, and then does damage to the enemies in the AoE, again doing corrosion. Then Secredia, Overlord the Unyielding Silk. She looks so cool, doesn't she? She's very pretty. Still bugged, by the way, like as you've probably seen with other creators. Inflicts 10 attack corrosion to all enemies every probably X amount of time, or every time she casts a battle skill, or whatever it is. We don't know what it is, but it will change soon. Battle skill, sort of area of effect up there. Area damage converting to corrosion. Then the ult deals damage to enemies within range. Again, AoE increases the corrosion inflicted on all enemies by 25%, and deals extra damage. Now, taking a look at some of the epics, I'm going to start with this lizard guy down here, because this is the one that people are sort of saying to take over Secredia for your defense down. That's because of his passive here. When attacking enemies whose current corrosion is less than 30% of their max HP with skills, the corrosion damage dealt will be increased by 30%. So again, in Vortex, this is just bonkers. Alright, from what I've seen. His battle skill, one enemy with the highest corrosion and converts into more corrosion. And his battle skill, his ultimate skill, looks kind of cool. He summons 5 orbs to strike entire board. But again, in things like Vortex, there's only one target. Dealing damage and converting it back into Corrosion. Then we've got our sort of Dolbum, I think? Reskin. Kind of cool looking. Gegnu. Inflicts 15% attack corrosion to the attacker when taking damage, and also increases corrosion inflicted to enemies around the hero by 25%. Battle skill. Poison damage to enemies within range, converting 40%. Strikes enemies within range on the ultimate, dealing 240%, and then 40% corrosion. And then Dragonheir, he kind of looks like a Krishna kind of vibe. When an enemy inflicted with corrosion dies, gains 20% attack up, and recharges his ultimate energy, which is nice. Battle skill, strikes an enemy twice, 60% converted to corrosion. And his ultimate, kind of like a Huldork kind of vibe, Filto, that sort of thing. Deals 700% attack to damage in range, and deals an additional 300% to enemies inflicted corrosion. So that's like 1,000%. So I imagine that this guy has the potential to hit pretty hard on that ultimate. Quick look at the rares. Basic attacks have a 50% chance of doing poison damage, and the additional damage will be converted to corrosion. Battle skill 320% in a sort of area effect around him, converting to corrosion, and then deals damage to enemies in range, again to corrosion. Last one, sort of Sabrina, the teenaged witch. Kind of gives me Yui Cartle vibes, only she's got a sort of a headdress on. Converts 25% of the current corrosion damage immediately when the hero's skill damages an enemy. Again, I think this has the potential to be pretty good in Vortex as well for a bit of burst. I haven't got her kitted out yet, but we'll sort of give it a go, have a play, we'll see what's what. Battle skill fires an orb that can bounce up to 4 times, converting damage to corrosion, and then her ultimate deals 700% attack, granting attack up. So there are our heroes. Now let's go see what all the fuss is about in Vortex, shall we? So I had a thought before I go into the Vortex and do dungeon runs and things everywhere else. This is where I've got my Psyche core. I haven't gone for the 5-man affinity. We all know it's going to just perform better. Okay, getting the increased damage here and the increased crit damage on the end up here. No, where is it? That one, damage dealt by just increase. All right. I just want to stay here just to see what we can expect early on, essentially, and then perhaps I'll take a look at the 5-man affinity later. So we're going to jump into Vortex. New season, new test server. So we're not going to have... I haven't got to Vortex 4 yet. So here's the team. We've gone for our 2 ice people as well. Just save this as squad 1 so we can look at the equipment plan. So similar to what Scratch done. Shout out to Scratch. Ice mainly for the affinity. Alright, eventually. Got our tank here with the parasol for healing and ancestral protection. That hasn't changed. And we've gone for one of these mythic gloves. 20% of the damage will be converted into healing when their HP drops below 50%. Now, because we've got to build this guy with high defense, I wonder whether you'll get better healing with someone with a lower defense because they're going to take more damage. That's at least my thinking. The Puppeteer Hammer. Allies around the wearer gain 15% defense of the wearers. I really like this set. I think it pairs well with Mona Lisa. Kind of a shame that we've sort of lost the other one in Cyril this season, but I think this is nice. 50% chance for the wearer to grant increased healing and shield effects. Now, I don't know if this will work off herself. that's what we've gone with. Rook has his own artifact. Alright. Gone for the increased damage to enemy centre defense down. And we've gone with the aerial ruler flintlock. Okay. Same here, and then I didn't have any more sort of good pieces. So our epic here is in 3-piece with just what I could find on the chest. Righty ho, so here we go then. So I'm going to hold Rook off for a second because I want to get some corrosion and defense down first. We'll do the same with Whisk as well. There's the cool little orbs, defense down. Whisk goes, and then Rook. Now, as you've seen other people talk about, all those triggers you're getting on screen right now are the corrosion damage that sort of Rook is kind of doing as well. All right. And it's bonkers. It generally is. And even these 2 ice heroes are amazing as well. So, what we're going to do, we are going to sort of leave this here. I'm going to go get some toast, make a sandwich, and then we'll come back when it's done, and we'll see how we got on. Okay, so he drives at the end of the run. I think that's 304 million, so nothing like the billions that you're seeing some other people do, but again, that could be partly down to Psyche Core and things that I've chosen not to do. But more importantly, it's this statistic right here. Rook is bonkers, okay? Absolutely bonkers. Dealing the majority of the damage in a lot of these cases. I'm just going to save that so we can move on to level 3. So next up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try a couple of dungeons, just see how they perform in other areas like that. So here we are, Grave of Venom, same team near enough, except for bringing in Secredia as our Witch's Remains. Same gear the last guy had, just mainly for the AoE. So let's see how they do. Such a cool animation. All a little bit mistimed there, but it's looking like that we're going to have no trouble clearing. Partly due to just what an amazing tank Theodemir is. Woo, woo, woo. Yeah, all a bit wrong. We might have one more go at this after this. Now, also something that sort of you might have noticed there is the change in the venom mechanics. So the ultimate striking a random enemy now, as Secreda took a big smack twice there, as you can. So that's certainly going to catch a few people out this season, but we managed it just fine. We'll challenge again though. I'm just going to hold off on Rook and Whisk just to see how they hold up. There you go. There's that. There's that one. Yeah, this is going to be a lot quicker. I can tell already, just because we've got the ults in the right order now. Here comes the heal. There's the defense down. Whisk, and there you go. Job done. 33 seconds slower than my shadow team, notably, but still very easily cleared. Back once again for Heretical Ruins. We will get rid of the old team with Fathom down and the Shadow guys. That will pop in our new Poison Folk. He's a melee. put them either side for the bonuses, and away we go again. We'll hold off on these two once more. I think we'll hold off on her as well. We'll wait till the phoenixes have spawned, and then we'll just give them hell altogether. So phoenixes are spawned. There's a defense down. There's a whisk. And then rook. Here he comes. So we are all dying, mainly because we don't have debuff removal. And this could be, to be fair, where someone like the new gear set, what's it called? Where you cast your ultimate, you remove a debuff, or when you inflict a debuff, you remove one. That's where this sort of thing could be, pretty nice. I think we're going to be okay, though. We shall see. And then whisk. There we go. So, again, notably, though, a lot slower than the Shadow team, which is interesting. And then goblins. I think there'll be no surprises that it's absolutely fine clearing Goblin 3 as well, especially built up like they are. Same issue on Ancient Battlefield. I'm not going to go into that as the Shadow team, partly because I've just sort of thrown it together. But I do think that because Corrosion isn't necessarily a debuff or anything, it doesn't appear like it gets dispelled. So again, should be okay with a bit of tuning and putting the right team together. So we'll come to the end of this, and we'll just take a look at some final thoughts, I suppose. Still going. There we go. And then finally, we're just gonna play around with some of these epics and rares, just so we can see what they look like. These two in particular I thought looked kind of cool. So we'll see what the rare does for us. And we've got our larger smack. Okay, I mean, they're not geared, so obviously it's a bit unfair compared to Whisk, but interesting that the rare hit harder, granting herself the attack up and the bouncing ball and all of that. I think those two could be pretty good. We'll do once again here. And then this guy as well. Yeah, so I'm surprised actually. The multipliers on the Grishna lookalike, whatever his name is, 1000% seems pretty good, but maybe not as good as we thought. The little rare though seems solid. So, what do we think? What do we know? Clearly, this new Corrosion is bonkers when it comes to Vortex. Definitely the most powerful from what it seems. Now, whether it remains that way, who knows? I hope that. My hope is that at the moment, as it stands, if you pull Rook, congratulations, you've just won Vortex. If you haven't, then nothing will ever compete. If they are going to change him, though, I hope they change him before the S3 banner, because my fear is that everyone will spend their hard-earned dice, maybe even money, trying to pull this guy, and then they nerf him afterwards, and that's going to look not only really bad on the company, but it's going to give you a sort of a feels bad as well, just as players. The Shadow, that Taldi Shadow epic was very good. Some of the epics here seem pretty good. as well. You know, particularly like this guy for Vortex for his passive Darko. Um, and Sabrina, I actually think, you know, is okay. I didn't spend too much time outside the dummies with her. But seems all right as well. So as good as Whisk and Secreta are, you know, I think you know if you have Rook, you can make any of the others work with him. If you don't pull Rook, you know, it's not the end of the world, as it were. I think it will still work fine, just without him. So there you go, guys. That was sort of a brief insight into Corrosion today. Massive step up than Poisons, as it were. You don't need Enlightenment, accuracy, damage, and all that jazz. It's simply just straight up damage with them. It's a pity that, again, like Shadow, none of these Corrosion heroes have like utility like debuffs, really. Um, you know, which is a shame. But he's just straight up damage. But you know, should it to be expected? Maybe. Who knows? So, take it easy, guys. Look after yourselves. Work hard. But remember, play harder. Take care now. Bye bye.